Hello again, ladies and gentlemen. Can we talk about Jem and the Holograms? Yes, hello once again. Can we talk, faithful? This is the Can We Talk About podcast, and we are two siblings. Can we talking about magic again, Kristen? Magic. Viewed through the prism of a pink lady not named Rizzo and some chick with even worse hair than dance somehow?
I disagree with that.
It is a show we are a very dear friend of. That neon nightmare, that pastel phantasm, that oh so frighteningly fashionable 80s cartoon, air quotes classic, Jem and the Holograms. I am Cotton Candy Hair. My name is Joe.
I accessorize to fend off my impending death. I'm Kristen.
And we are watching Jem and the Holograms via Shout Factory's Jem and the Holograms, truly outrageous complete series, a box set, and the wonderful world of Netflix. Krista, what are you watching on Netflix?
Hey Joe, so when we were setting up for this, I was thinking to myself, oh man, I'm gonna have something to talk about when Joe asked me what I watched on Netflix. And then I remembered the thing that I thought I would have to talk about was this episode of Jem. So I haven't watched anything because I just got back from CwtCon East, which was a lot of fun. I went on a lot of water slides. Didn't throw any people down water slides, though I thought about it. And I'm playing Tales of Berseria again now that I don't have to worry about sewing.
Wonderful. I watched the thing that I said I was going to watch probably 4 or 5 months ago. I watched the Series of Unfortunate Events Netflix series, which was good, and I liked it.
Oh, you finished it already?
Yeah, well, hey, it's 8 episodes, not that long.
True. Because you started DMing me about it during the first episode, I don't know why, I just kind of was like, well, he's probably gonna quit.
Considering I was fucking kicking back Star Trek episodes like nobody's business, and they're all... Kristen, it is astounding to me that I watched basically all of Star Trek except for Star Trek Enterprise. 3 shows with 7 seasons... Of like 24 or so episodes. I know the season 1 of Voyager had like 13, but whatever. And the 3 seasons of original Star Trek, all in less than a year, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I think so too. Because it definitely hasn't been that long since you were like, I'm into Star Trek now suddenly. And I was like, really? Okay. Which is still kind of my viewpoint on it. But hey, chase your bliss, Joe.
Love it. It's good shit.
Now watch Buffy.
This week, Kristen... It is time for that old Houdini magic, an episode I found very entertaining because Rapture, being a shit ass, willing to ride out the lie to the point where it almost kills her is wonderful.
I don't like this episode too much. I don't want to be mean to Gina Bakar.
Gina Bakar is the writer of this episode. She's a very nice woman who provided some thoughts on the episode at my request, which we will get into at the beginning here. But
she's very nice. It's not that I didn't like the episode. It's that I guess my memory of it was slightly different than I had upon my first watch. Though, yeah, let me tell you, seeing Rapture take it to the very edge of life is very satisfying in its own way.
It's way more badass than Minx getting sad about a synthesizer and Riot going fucking AWOL in the military or whatever.
Yeah. Do you think we missed the point of the episode if we liked the fact that Rapture was a jerk the whole time?
This is the only Rapture episode we get, Krista. We gotta savor it.
It's delicious.
So let's get things started.
Me and my friends are Jem girls. Jem is my name. Exciting adventure, fashion, and fame. Once you're a Jem girl, you're never the same. Come on and be a Jem girl. Jem is my name. Me and my friends are Jem girls. Jem is my name. Truly outrageous, that's a Jem girl. Glamour, fashion, and fame. Exciting adventure, fashion, and fame. Once you're a Jem girl, you're never the same. Come on and be a Jem girl. Jem is my name.
I think it's a stretch to call Gina Bakar a friend of the podcast.
I do have, yes, the friendiest friend of the podcast that we have other than Madeline, maybe.
Yeah, I guess so. Madeline's the ultimate friend of the podcast.
This episode written by Gina Bakar, a friend of the podcast, in the very loosest sense.
She talked to us once.
Twice
Now. Once before this.
Twice to me.
Yeah, to you specifically. I've never even spoken to her. She seems real nice.
Through DMs on Twitter.
Yeah, what, like a phone call? Please, it's 2017. DMs is how you do it. Sliding into a Jem writer's DMs.
I reached out to see if she wanted to give a few words on the episode, and Kristen, here is what she wrote back. I remember enjoying the research immensely and learning the behind-the-scenes techniques of Houdini. If there's a message to the story, I'd say the magic is in you. Believe in yourself, and don't be afraid to ask for help to make that magic happen.
That's true. Rapture does need Minx's help to not die. See, even the Stingers like each other enough to not kill each other.
So we start off here, Kristen, the instrumentation
Sometimes Houdini.
on a train.
Magic! Good, so we got that out of our system.
The instrumentation to I'm Okay is playing outside this mansion to start us off here. The Houdini Museum, I guess, where this is, maybe?
Well, we know where the Houdini Museum is.
Located in Scranton, Pennsylvania. But yeah, there's this large mansion place, I guess, where most of the episode takes place. Presumably some sort of... Apparently there's a charity ball here every year, and this lady, Professor Farnsworth, as I referred to her throughout in the notes.
Yeah, I had a hard time not thinking about it that way, too.
Apparently she holds a charity ball every year, but this year it is based on one Harry Houdini.
We're given very few actual details about it.
Yeah, there's just, they got some handcuffs from Houdini, they got some gloves which come into play later. He's the theme of the charity ball here, whatever. Gem and the Holograms are here as well at the Scranton Houdini Museum, of course. And they got the orphans with them here, which I guess were brought because I'm going to assume it's just like we need to get these orphans out of the house.
Please, God, they need some oxygen. Bonnie is bopping around the exhibit here, and she picks up a pair of handcuffs. Little known fact, Bonnie's kinky. And now that I've said that, let's move on and pretend I didn't.
I was going to say, Kristen, she picks up the handcuffs, and then it goes all black and white, and she just slowly raises a cigarette to her mouth, and then Kimberly's just like, what are these? And grabs them from her, and Bonnie's just like, what fuck? Oh my god, what are we talking about?
God, I just had a flashback. I'm shell-shocked. Bonnie is shell-shocked.
These bracelets give me trouble!
I would know. Me and Sean also get into some weird shit. Oh, please, handcuffs aren't that weird.
We've got Professor Farnsworth here, this old magic lady, as I called her. She's not an old magic lady. She's superstitious, I guess?
She seems to just be your run-of-the-mill weirdo.
She's telling everyone there's going to be a magic costume party. Everybody's going to be dressing like it's the 1920s or something, I think.
No one does.
They get into more formal than 80s formal, I guess.
I don't know. It's like, you call it a costume party, then have people show up like it's the fucking Met Gala. Or they could just be wearing some gowns. Like, okay. Surprise, Kristen's being fashion picky.
All proceeds from this ball don't go directly into Jerica's pocket, which is good. They'll be going directly into Astral's pocket, which she provides to the Children's Hospital.
You know, the Children's Hospital.
California's famous Children's Hospital.
Gotta cure that kid cancer.
We are told of Astral here, Astral Eldrick.
Okay, I'm into that name.
A hot new magician on the scene, and her teacher was even a student of Houdini's.
This is one of those moments where I have to think to myself, wait, how many years ago was Houdini in the 80s?
You gotta look through several prisms here, Kristen, of how far ago was Houdini popular to how far ago was the 1980s to now to try and make this work out.
Too many years. I can't go through that many layers.
Gem and the Holograms will also be performing because apparently this lady saw the Music is Magic show and was probably like, shit, we could do better than that, you fucking kidding me? They have an entire magic island and they put on this shit show.
And that wasn't even for charity, that was just for shits and giggles.
Professor Farnsworth here promises a good time will be had by all, and it's for a good cause, and Gem's like, we make a great team because you're a bullshitter too.
Professor Farnsworth is like, do you need another singer? And then Gem goes, and then pushes her.
Pushes her down. How do you like those watches, bitch? Give me them, give me them.
I'm gonna eat all those watches right off your wrist.
So they walk to where the rest of the holograms are hanging out, and Kimber, feeling wrathful today, takes those handcuffs that she had previously and snaps them onto Rhea's wrist, going, gotcha!
And Rhea is just kind of like, okay. No, I'm a drummer.
Rhea isn't terribly alarmed, but she should be. And we find out, Kristen, that you weren't wrong when Kimber said that her name was the Great Kimberdini, because apparently she upgraded her name from Music is Magic, from the Great Kimbrini to the Great Kimberdini. Probably because she thought the name was holding her back, but she's actually still shit at magic.
Internal consistency is fake. Nothing is real. Kristen was right the whole time. Ha-cha-cha.
Kimber tries very hard to undo the handcuffs, but whoops daisy, can't do it.
Didn't she learn anything from that whole skeleton key incident? You'd think she would just keep one in her back pocket at all times.
We cut away from that scene to Minx and Rapture, who are here, I guess.
I mean, so is Riot.
I mean, well, that's the thing. The Stingers are just here.
Yeah, they've absolutely no business being here. I thought they had already kind of secured their position at this benefit thing as well. But nah, they're just dicking around. Turns out Rapture's just real into Houdini.
She's dropping some hot Wikipedia facts about Houdini, and Minx Kristen could not give a fuck. Probably because Houdini's dead, so she can't have sex with him.
Joke's on her. Mrs. Farnsworth seems to have, like, the opposite idea later.
Riot is stopped up somewhere, which is keeping the Stingers from leaving, and Minx is just like, I want to get the fuck out of here. Oh my god.
Yo, Minx and Rapture, you guys have legs, just go.
Riot's the one who drove us. Ugh.
Just walk. Steal the car. Who cares?
Riot goes and introduces himself to Professor Farnsworth here and goes, my name is Riot. I'm sure you've heard of me.
And she's like, I'm old. Why do I give a shit about you?
I'm a very busy woman, and I don't have time for a man who looks like he jumped off the pages of a romance novel. Goodbye.
I'm way more into the Houdini types. It's a running theme.
Riot acts surprisingly meek here. It's kind of like the concept to him of just somebody being like, nah, not interested, is just like, what? What?
Yeah, it's a good thing this is the 80s, because the concept of lesbians would probably rock Riot's world.
He's just kind of like, what?
He just gestures to his face and his abs. He does some crotch chops, and he's like, I don't get it.
But we cut back to Rhea and Kimber here, still having #handcuff problems.
Little handcuff things.
Kimber goes, the great Kimberdini never fails, while currently failing.
Concurrently failing.
There is applause out in the audience, and Rhea says, we gotta get on stage now. It's time for Jem to perform now.
So I don't know what Rhea's plan is here, because she and Kimber just run up to the stage still handcuffed together, and they're like, hey Jem, help!
Rhea's gonna do her best impression of Rick Allen, the one-armed drummer guy from Def Leppard.
See, I saw that part in your notes, and right over Kristen's head, so I'm like, let's just continue, shall we?
I had to look up his name because I knew that Def Leppard had a one-armed drummer, and I was like, I don't even know that dude's name. Rick Allen. Good on you, Rick Allen. So they rush to the stage here, and Rhea's just like, we're in handcuffs. And Kimber, presumably facetiously, goes, boy, we sure could use Houdini now.
And then smoke happens, and the next best thing, I guess, shows up.
A cotton candy hair woman.
Astral.
She just touches the handcuffs, and they open up, and Kimber and Ray are like, oh, shit. Oh, my God. How did that happen?
That doesn't make any sense.
Jem introduces Astral with trumpet fanfare and everything.
Who's playing that?
She's a mistress of magic, Kristen.
I think the word is a magician.
Song 1 of the evening. She's got the power. Which, Kristen, I'll be honest. Mm-hmm. When I watched this episode the first time, and I believe I've said this before, the episode got off on the wrong foot with me because I always.
You said it made you very angry.
It did. It did. It made me quite a bit miffed because She's Got the Power is a song that in my mind was like, this is a Synergy song. I don't need fucking cotton candy hair lady. What the fuck?
Because to be fair, Synergy doesn't get another song.
I mean, if anything, doing this podcast here has made me realize I don't really care about Synergy that much.
Yeah! I mean, here we are in season 3.
I mean, at least Astral is, like, corporeal?
Seems to have some kind of personality, sense of justice, moral compass.
While Synergy's just a computer who will fuck around with you for no reason.
Yeah, and, like, straight up can be persuaded to be used for evil in the wrong hands, apparently.
And won't be proactive either if Jerrica is missing.
Yeah, she just goes to sleep like, nope, fuck this.
If you're going to reuse any song here, it should be this one because, obviously, you know, it's magic. It's wow. It's wow. It's really cool.
Power. And this is a pretty good song. Reminds me of the younger days of our podcast when we were worse at podcasting, which is unfortunate. I was thinking not too long ago that in order to get our running joke about the disaster boat, you need to listen to episode 2 of our fucking podcast. And it's, man, that's depressing.
Kristen, I wrote here that Astral's hair is probably worse than Dance's because
I still no.
She's got it in like a hair cone. I think that's the problem. It's like she's got her ponytail's out very far before it actually starts being a ponytail.
She is also like a stage performer. Like, Dance performs things too. But, like, in her normal sweats, and just day-to-day, she's like, yeah, this is my hair. This is the situation that I'm working with.
I do have that. Astral has a reason to look like a colorful idiot as well, so.
magic.
Yeah, and we see some shots of Astral in the past here, pastoral, of course, where if you're looking at her from the wrong angle, she might look a little like Aja, because her hair in this past section here is only Aja blue.
Do you think the blue hair is why Aja didn't have any lines in this episode?
Aja didn't say a goddamn thing in this episode, did
Neither
she?
did Shayna.
We had to do that sweet-ass handcuff plot with Kimber and Raya.
Like, I appreciate that they didn't introduce Rhea and then just have her never ever speak ever again. But Aja and Shayna put in an entire extra season of work. And they're still getting shafted.
We see Astral performing for some kids. She throws some cards into the air and uses an umbrella to stab the aces, I guess.
Okay.
She's a teenager at this point. She's still got her hair good still, and this is probably when she thought, let me mix in some pink with this shit.
Joe is someone with a weird colored hair. That is going to start getting even weirder soon. Your judgment has been noted, and I'm not going to forget.
She's performing at a children's hospital, pulls a rabbit out of a hat, and
then another one.
And then
Just
a few more.
Shoves him in the face of a kid in a wheelchair like, here, get better.
I think Astral is just magic dance, Kristen.
Dance magic dance?
She does not remind me of the Babe.
I'm annoyed because I didn't see that note underneath magic dance, and I thought I was being clever and original.
Boom! I thought you were going to keep it going. That's okay.
No, I feel like that's overplayed and we're too good for that.
How often are people referencing Labyrinth, Kristen?
I feel like in the circles that we ran in as young kids, and me as someone, I've never even actually seen Labyrinth.
I was going to ask about that, actually. I was thinking about that today. Like, has Kristen seen Labyrinth? So we see a dude locking Astral into a trunk, presumably the guy who trained her or whatever, the Houdini student, Studini over here.
I was going to say her sexy assistant man.
She's wearing a straitjacket, but at least he made sure to give her the key, and then she twirls and shit on stage, and that's the end of the song, and, the orphans and Professor Farnsworth all clap, and Bonnie, very clearly, Kristen, goes, "Great, Jim!"
Yeah, Jim! Jim was the name of her old partner.
Astral thanks everyone, and they leave satisfied here. A Charlie Adler patron can't wait for the benefit.
Yeah, this was like a preview of the benefit preview. I don't know. They don't say how much time passes during all of this.
Raya goes over to Professor Farnsworth here again, saying like, hey, your benefit won't be complete without a performance by the Stingers, so hey, cool, look at the handsome man over here, look at my pecs, please.
And she apparently drops a bomb on him. He's been here the whole time, had no idea that Jem was also there, because she's like, I already have an act, and it is Jim and the holograms.
And Riot is fucking aghast, mouth agape. He can't fucking believe it, Kristen. What are they doing here?
I don't know. We're the misfits. Where's Pizzazz? They have experience in this area.
Minx and Rapture have, like, a radar for when Riot is suddenly not at his most confident, because they rush over to him to be the fucking self-esteem team.
Right, have I told you you're handsome today? She's just being a bitch.
Minx takes it upon herself here, Kristen, to be like, well, I'm gonna go kick her ass. And Riot does hold her back like a good friend, but...
No, Minx. Don't beat up a fragile old woman.
Were you fucking kidding me? She'd be so easy.
No. I'm thinking more like a long con, and then we all beat the shit out of her.
Rapture says they need to teach her a lesson instead. Leave it to her. So, Kristen, I did notice in this episode, or at least in certain shots, Rapture's, like, say and armor shoulder pad things are like big translucent sleeves instead in this episode.
We talked about that in the Stingers Hit Town.
Did we?
Yes, because I thought that was supposed to imply that they were, like, clear vinyl or something, which I was super into. But then in some shots, they were just not.
Oh, well.
Consistency.
Back to Jem and the Professor. Jem thanks her for letting the girls come out to the press event, where they were probably bored as shit, because Bonnie's the only one...
He's dead. That's boring.
Bonnie's the only one that said anything.
Bonnie's like, oh wow, Professor Farnsworth, you have a lot of watches on.
And she's just like, oh, I was once told by a psychic that I would never die, providing my watch kept running. So I always make sure to not, like, check my watch battery a lot. I just wear a lot. I wear a lot. I wear like 14 watches.
And even Bonnie's like, sure sounds stupid, miss. Death comes for all of us.
Bang, bang.
And Bonnie blows the smoke out of her gun. She just shot some warning shots. Next time, Professor Farnsworth, you won't be so lucky.
Rapture hears all of this from behind a door, that this lady is scared as shit that she's gonna die as soon as her clock stops running or whatever. And She just traipses over to where, like, the mannequin wearing the Houdini gloves is and the handcuffs from before. She just straight up takes them, and then an alarm starts going off.
And I'm still not totally sure why she does this, because it's kind of a thing, but then it immediately, like, just stops being a thing. Just take the gloves and sell them!
They all rush to the source, Professor Farnsworth and the holograms do. Rapture is just standing there, arms folded across her chest, wearing Houdini's gloves, and they're all just kind of like, what's Rapture doing here?
Rapture, you, like, straight up stole something, like, we see you there. And Minx goes, shh, you stupid Americans. Another spirit is being channeled into Rapture's body.
And Professor Farnsworth, instead of being like, stop, thief, is like, oh, that's cool. Wait a minute. Before we call the police, let's see where this goes.
And Astral's like, this is bullshit. But shh, no.
Astral calls it the oldest con in the book as well, which is Astral. She's smart, I guess.
Because I've done that plenty of times.
Minx asks the spirit who they are, and Rapture goes, I am Eric Weiss, but you may know me as Houdini.
And Astral's like, no, seriously, this is fucking fake.
She starts trudging over to Rapture in her giant cloak. Astral is wearing very large clothing, Kristen.
Hey, go for it. Live that magician life. I am Houdini, and I have come back to help you. The Professor Farnsworth.
Bonnie's like, me?
Nope.
No.
I'm clearly pointing higher than you, little girl. Shut up.
Segment 1 ends. The professor is shocked.
Segment 2 starts. I'm here to help you.
And Ash is like, me?
Yes! Can no one here understand pointing?
I can help you overcome your greatest fear.
Jem is just stone cold, like, Rapture, you're a fucking fake and a con artist. Stop.
Jem tells Rapture, to cut the shit here, but unfortunately that line does not work. It does not have the same power over her as it does when Ryder minxes. It's like fucking Florence Henderson at the end of the Brady Bunch movie telling Jem to cut the crap.
Cut the crap, Rapture.
Did she say cut the shit in the movie? I don't remember. I think we've only seen the TV version.
We used to have it on
we
VHS,
had it on
and I seem to
VHS.
remember it being cut the crap. Did Florence
Interesting.
Henderson say a swear?
Riot, of course, is playing along as well because he actually has a stake in this time and doesn't have anything better to do like
He
chase
just
after
really
Jem.
wants to dunk on this old lady.
He says Rapture is mystically attuned and keep talking, keep telling us more about you, Houdini.
Rapture checks her smartphone and starts to talk about how Houdini was born in Idaho or fucking something. He had gloves. And, he was a magician.
And Astral is like, wait a minute, she's reading from his Wikipedia page.
And Professor Farnsworth is like, oh! Yes! Those are true things!
It's the real deal! Oh my god!
It's not nice. I know we talked about this before. It's not nice to trick people. Is it Rapture's fault if everyone around her is a fucking idiot?
Rapture tries to see if Astral is a fake Houdini fan at this point because she just walks over to another mannequin, throws a hat, and goes, what does this signal represent?
If you like Houdini so much, what are his first 3 albums?
Apparently, Kristen, Houdini would throw a hat into a room where his wife was, and when they were having, like, marriage troubles and shit, if she threw the hat back at him, that meant, take a walk, buster.
Are you sure it didn't mean instead of throwing your hat into the room like some kind of fun magician marriage trick, how about we come in here and have an open dialogue like adults? Did they get divorced? Let's Google it.
Houdini died by getting punched in the stomach, so...
Right in the solar plexus, right?
I don't remember why. I think it ruptured something in him. He got hit so hard, I don't remember what it was.
Well, that's what happens when you get punched a lot. It doesn't say if his wife divorced him after all the hat-throwing bullshit.
For some reason, this hat-throwing trick as well only seems to confirm to the professor that Rapture is actually channeling Houdini, which again, doesn't really...
Even though Astral is the one who said the fun Houdini fact.
Jem warns Astral that Rapture is one of the best con artists around, but Kristen here, again, is it just that she's a great con... She's not great at the cons, I don't think. I think
she's dedicated, and that makes up most of her results.
She's really, really good at finding dumbass marks, too.
Yes, she is. I mean, like, hey, casing is 50% of the con. That's the true turn of phrase.
Astral says that Miss Farnsworth is the perfect victim, too. They don't really expound upon that. She's just
She has dementia.
And again, Astral says this as if she has experience in the department of conning people.
Astral is starting to look real suspicious.
Well, Astral is not going to stand for it, Kristen. She is going to expose Rapture because Miss Farnsworth is her mark!
Oh.
Cut to some fancy clothing store here where Professor Farnsworth is basically saying, hey, stingers, buy whatever you want. Fuck it, whatever.
Okay, Rodney Dangerfield. Rapture says, to remain on Earth, I must keep my host body happy.
And Minx is just like, oh, car. We want a car. That'll keep us happy.
Who's the Houdini here? She says the professor needs to donate any money that they're not spending on clothes to the Mystical Truth Foundation, which doesn't exist just yet.
And Professor Farnsworth is just like, can you help me out first? I thought you said you were going to help me.
And then Rapture goes, ah! Oh no! Houdini's spirit is gone!
And the instrumentation for Destiny starts playing at this point.
Huh, weird.
Professor Farnsworth is like, oh no, shit, Houdini, come back, oh my god, oh fuck, oh shit.
A Riot slides up and goes, maybe he'll come back if you promise you're gonna establish this foundation where we can just scoot all that money and con opportunities straight up Rapture's skirt.
So Professor Farnsworth gets on her knees here, please Houdini, please come back, oh my god. And as she goes down to her knees, Rapture gives Riot a knowing wink, like, good play, good, I like that.
Nice.
Rapture puts the gloves back on and just starts going, whoa, where am I? Woo!
It's me, Houdini. This is a new number. Who is this?
Astral is watching from the other end of a two-way mirror that's just in this clothing store, I guess.
Man, Astral is a creep.
Good thing I'm hanging out at my favorite clothing store with a two-way mirror.
Where I get to peep on people. Yuck. Big yuck.
Rapture is just like, Professor Farnsworth, I will reveal all my secrets in time. I just need all the money first.
First, make it rain on me.
And she's just like, sweet, cool, sounds good.
All right. Why was this lady so convinced that a guy who got punched in the stomach until he died was going to help her live forever?
Rapture then shoves her off so she can be herself for a bit. Houdini will return when the astral planes are in more favorable alignment, or some bullshit.
Sounds fake, but okay.
Minx and Riot walk over here making fun of how easily duped the professor is because she just, like, runs off, I guess, at this point. They all laugh here, Kristen. They laugh and laugh and laugh. Ha!
Conning old women.
And Riot snaps his fingers, signaling song 2 of the evening, Mind Games, which we'll be playing for you right now.
Manipulation is the name of the game. Manipulation makes all of the games look tame. The goal is control of your soul. We're playing mind games, stretching your mind till it snaps. We like to play mind games, making the whole thing collapse. Mind games. The stipulation is that I make all the rules. Intimidation turns the wisest men to fools. You're caught, overwrought, and destroyed. Suddenly the world seems out of joint. Don't you see, baby, that's the point. We're playing mind games, twisting your head out of shape. We like to play mind games. There's no way to escape. We like to play mind games. There's no way to escape. Mind games.
Joe, I really have no strong feelings one way or the other about pretty much every Stinger song.
I like Stinger songs. I think they're pretty good. We've got Here to Start, Kristen. Mind Games is a good song as well. We've got Here to Start. Rapture's in a magician getup that's surprisingly modest, I wrote.
Okay. Gross judgment there, Joe. Let her dress how she wants to dress.
Why am I thinking Rapture would want to be a sexy magician?
Could we just assume everyone in this series wants to be a sexy magician based on their history of dressing as sexy magicians?
We have also as well here, Rapture is pulling at the strings of a marionette based on Professor Farnsworth, which means, Kristen, that twice Rapture has been a puppeteer in a music video this season.
I wonder what kind of themes they're going with for her.
So we've got here, Kristen, the professor being thrown through a colorful magic tunnel, being haunted by images of the Stingers. We got pyramids with the eyes from Nightmare.
And then a ghost grabs Rapture, and she can't get to the end of the tunnel in time, and she has to fall down the hole and hit the switch again, and go down the ghost hallway again, and it takes her 9 minutes to finish the level.
Rapture's not very fast, Kristen. Not supersonic fast.
No, she's not, even though she has some pretty dynamic-looking hair.
We've got the professor in a straitjacket here, floating, a hoop being passed through her to show that there's no string trickery at work, normal magic shit, all that fun stuff.
So you know how we once talked about how, in The Fan, the imagery for Who Is She Anyway is a little bit confusing if you're just watching the music video?
Yes.
I feel like this is another one of those songs.
There are several points where Rapture turns into Houdini in this music video, where I know from watching this music video, and I forgot that it's not necessarily forgot that Rapture channels the spirit of Houdini, but you're watching and it's like, who's this dude? What?
Yeah, and who is this old lady? What is happening?
They all spin around her and she disappears. The stingers all run stage left, where Minx does a power slide on her knees, and they all pose for the end of the song.
They really can't seem to get their 3-person pose looking anything but goofy. Is that just me?
Maybe it's because Riot's a big and like luggy looking, maybe, so he can't dynamically pose very well looking unless it's just like he's pushing out his chest like with his hands on his hips, maybe.
And like for 3 people in a polyamorous relationship, they sure don't seem to want to get very close to each other.
We cut to Starlight Mansion here, Kristen. Astral, for some reason, went to go see if Jem could help her instead of the police.
Hi, 911? There's some wolf lady who is attempting to gaslight and then steal everything that this old woman I have no relation to owns. Can you help? And then the police laughed at her, and then she's like, okay, I guess it's Jem time. Boop, 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 Jem!
They gave her Bonnie's business card, and then she appeared at Starlight Mansion. She was like, oh, Jem's house. I'll just talk to Jem.
And Bonnie crushes her card in her hand, seeing that her client was being taken away. God damn it, Jem. Not again.
Jem's plan to get Rapture out of this is talking to her about it, Kristen.
Hey, Joe.
Yes.
If they didn't say, well, it might not help to tell Miss Farnsworth again that this is wrong, would we have said, why don't they just try saying, hey, Mrs. Farnsworth, Rapture's a bullshit liar?
Fair enough.
Because, we are advocates of the speaking to each other approach to things.
That's true, which is not done enough in this series.
It isn't. So, of course, the one time they try it, it does not work. Do you remember the one time I do remember it working?
Oh, fuck. No.
It was in the World Hunger Shindig, when Kimber and Sean talk about that how he is not dating Pizzazz and Misfits actually just fucking kidnapped him.
Damn.
And Kimber goes, that's a relief. Thank you for telling me.
That's a fucking deep pass back to the beginning of the series.
Mm-hmm. I don't think it ever happens again.
We fade to the museum. There are people here preparing for the big charity ball, and of course the Stingers arrive at the exact same time the holograms do, where they could have tried to talk to this fucking woman before the charity ball, but whatever.
Who cares?
Jem waits until this exact moment to yell about it being a hoax, and Rapture
Yeah, they do say they're going to talk to Mrs. Farnsworth about it, but what they actually do is, she's in the middle of talking to the Stingers, and then Jem rolls in, and she's like, Rapture, you fucking liar!
Astral makes a point as well that if the professor gives all of the money away to Rapture's bullshit foundation, she won't be able to fund the new wing of the children's hospital.
And Professor Farnsworth goes, oh, right, the cancer kids.
So Rapture's just like, oh no, let's just, come on, I got a very important message for you. Come here, over here, please.
So Rapture just says, you wear way too many watches to the point of being tacky because you are afraid of death.
And Astral's even just like, a lot of people know why you wear the watches, don't fall for it.
You literally just said that the last time all of us were here when Bonnie asked you about it. And Mrs. Farnsworth is like, oh, yes.
And Rapture again just shuts Astral up and being, oh, we need to be the main event. The Stingers need to be the main event of this charity ball that we care so much about because
keep my host body happy.
And the professor doesn't even think about it. Of course, but we need costumes and we need to put your name on the poster. And I got a lot of work to do.
But for immortality, anything. Just take this bitch to Shangri-La.
You don't fool me, Rapture, says Astral.
I don't need to fool you.
That's true.
Very good point. Man, Rapture is underutilized.
Rapture takes off the gloves as Jem is just like, we should go, Astral. We tried talking, it didn't. We tried confronting her, it didn't work.
And Astral goes, no, magic duel.
Astral grabs one of the gloves that Rapture has and throws it on the ground and goes,
It's a Houdini glove. Don't do that.
I challenge you to a duel. A magic duel.
And then Rapture's like, oh no, that's right. Houdini's a magician.
A magic man.
Oh, crap.
A magician.
A magician.
End of segment 2. Rapture's just like, oh, fuck.
I didn't think this through.
Segment 3 starts. Rapture spent the entire commercial break presumably going, What's wrong, Rapture? Houdini got your tongue?
Ah! Ow!
Baron.
Ooh, it hurts.
The professor comes back and is just like, what's all this stuff? What are people talking about with a magic duel? What is this? Huh?
Astral says that any trick that the Houdini faker can do, I can do better. I can do any magic better than you.
Thereby proving that this ain't no Houdini.
And Rapture's like, I don't need to prove anything to you.
And the professor's just like, well, wait, no, you should prove how great you are, because you're Houdini. And Rapture's just like, fuck! Oh no!
Fine. Okay. Great. Sounds super great. Let's do it.
So she throws the other glove on the ground now, and Miss Fonzie's just like, what are you doing with the gloves?
We literally established that those are like museum tier relics. Please don't just chuck them on the ground.
We cut to the rat hole, presumably here, where we see Tech Rat helping the stingers of his own
He's just
accord.
friends with the stingers now.
Not even hanging out with Eric here. Eric didn't tell Tech Rat to help the stingers. Tech Rat is just helping the stingers.
Where is this formal introduction to Tech Rat and the stingers?
I don't know. Anyway, Rapture is in a straitjacket here, and she's just like, what am I supposed to do? I don't understand.
Tech Rat goes, pull the pink ribbon. Oh, it's been a while, Tech Rat.
With what, my teeth?
What else?
Oh, So she starts pulling at it with her teeth here, and Minx walks over, and Tech Rat's working on some kind of a bracelet here. Just kind of, he's got a sweet, gaudy bracelet thing with a bunch of fucking shit on it, and Minx is just like, oh, is that for me?
Tech Rat says, specially for you. And then Minx, touches Tech Rat, and then nothing happens. And it's now a good time to bring up that if the series went on, Minx and Tech Rat were supposed to be a thing.
Well, I didn't note that Tech Rat does not complain about not wanting to be touched when Minx gets all up in his business, so...
He, is straight up holding onto her arm when they are walking over. He is super chill with Minx. It's almost like Tech Rat has eyes that Rio doesn't, because Minx is super hot.
Tech Rat seems very mellow in this episode compared to basically every other appearance, too.
You know what? Working with the Stingers is probably an upgrade from working with the Misfits.
That's very true. Nobody's yelling at him, so he's just like, all right, no, I'm all good, so...
Yeah, maybe they're a little bit disingenuous in being nice to him just because they're getting cool electronic shit from him. But the Misfits don't even bother trying to do that.
That's very true.
He gives them free shit and they're like, okay, fuck you.
It's much better than where they could have went with something like Riot, attempting to bully him and shit, where it's just, no, he's cool with them.
No, they're all fine. I don't think they even call him gross ever, which Pizzazz does a lot.
Every 2 seconds she's around him.
Yep, it's just like she suddenly realizes how gross he is over and over.
So Tech Rat attaches a bracelet to Minx's wrist and leads her to a tank here where he says, behold, the ultimate illusion!
Yes.
Because as we all know, Kristen, a trick is something a whore does for money. Or cocaine.
I don't get it.
That's the thing that Job says in the first episode of Arrested Development.
Oh, okay. I was like, that's harsh language, Joe.
Except they changed it to where he says this in front of kids. The thing, he goes, oh no, Michael, the trick is something a whore does for money. And then he looks at the kids and says, or candy, because Fox didn't like him going, or cocaine at them.
Fair.
It is, Kristen, this ultimate illusion is the Chinese water torture cell. Kristen, that is not how Chinese water torture works.
Sure isn't. Hey, you know what's a great way to make something sound impressive and exotic and confusing? Call it Chinese.
Minx starts fucking around with the controls here on this bracelet that Tech Rat gave her, just as Rapture
Tech Rat doesn't yell at her.
Just as Rapture is just like, I'm not gonna be in a fucking tank of water upside down. You gotta be fucking kidding me.
Then she gets lassoed by the legs and goes, whoa!
And the instrumentation to It's Fun to Be Scared starts playing.
Yo, the instrumentation for this episode is on point.
Tech Rat starts explaining the bracelet to Minx here, inadvertently dunking Rapture in and out of the water.
I think that is Chinese water torture. Or is that just waterboarding?
I think that's water. Why am I suddenly reminded? I'm hoping that you went there too, of Frank waterboarding D.
Yep.
In a urinal, and it's always sunny.
Yep.
Wonderful.
Getting all those sitcom references in.
I'm glad we both went there.
Yep.
The big red rhinestone in the main part of the bracelet is the one that releases all of the locks and shit on Rapture, which, as soon as they throw the cover over the big tank here, that's when she's supposed to press it. And as she pushes it now, for example, it drops Rapture into the tank head first.
So she gets a big nose full of water, which I'm sure is awesome.
Minx laughs seeing this here as Rapture crawls out of the top of the tank and is just like, no, I'm cool, I got it.
And Minx says, your life is in my hands. Be comforted.
Rapture's not incredibly thrilled. She wants that button pressed immediately, or she'll actually be getting messages from the beyond, i.e. dead.
Ahaha. Almost drowning equals humbled. The gem shortcut.
Cut to the stage, only 5 minutes to showtime here, Kristen. Everyone's wearing, I put early 20th century outfits here.
Nah, just kind of normal formal stuff.
I was gonna say, it's not 80s formal, it's formal.
Yeah, do you think the Stingers were like a costume party? What does Houdini have to say about this? And then Rapture goes, no!
Put a turban on Minx, woo!
Dress us up! Dress everyone else down!
The Stingers haven't arrived yet with 5 minutes to the show, which we see about 2 or 3 shots here with these big sarcophagi in the background. Kristen,
How many?
3 separate sarcophaguses here.
3! That's interesting. Let's put a pin in that, come back to it.
The professor shows back up. She's like, where's Houdini? Ah!
Astral's like, Houdini's dead is where he is.
He's been dead and buried.
Are you asking where Rapture is? Because she's not here.
And she's conning you still.
Professor Farnsworth just goes, no! You're wrong.
Well, that settles that. No, you're wrong. You're very wrong. How can you say that?
Shut up.
Tonight, actions will speak louder than words, promises Astral, saying something with basically no substance to it.
Whatever. So people start coming, and as the show begins to start with still the Stingers not there, I guess maybe, Professor Farnsworth goes up on stage and she's like, Houdini is here.
And everybody's just kind of like,
Some people are like, wow, Houdini, and everyone else is like, he's dead.
And somebody goes, the rap group from the 80s?
Nope, I don't, whoop.
And they're like, no, it's not WHO Dini. No, it's Harry Houdini, that guy, the guy with the museum in Scranton, Pennsylvania.
When the patron says, Houdini, I can't wait.
And Charlie Adler, realist attendee here, is the character he's playing, as he goes, you might be waiting a while. Houdini's been dead for 60 years.
Waiting a while isn't waiting forever, I guess, because if you're actually waiting for Houdini to show up, then you would have to go back in time?
It might be one of those things where maybe if you wait long enough, they can either reanimate him, or if you wait long enough...
It's an open-ended burn.
It does the Futurama thing where, like, time just kind of loops over after a certain point, maybe?
Sure. I mean, hey, how are we not going to say the word Futurama with Professor Farnsworth here?
The Stingers have still not yet arrived, but the chandelier starts to glow with magic or some shit, and...
with tech rat juice. Juice.
Oh, gross.
Ew.
And it strikes the 3 sarcophagi here, magic lightning does, and they open up to reveal, it's the Stingers!
What? Inside the... How many sarcophagi were there?
3.
Remember when we put a pin in that number earlier? The Stingers were inside the sarcophagi!
As it turns out, Kristen, 1, 2, 3 Stingers, 3 sarcophagi. I think we rest our case.
See, I got confused because in the last episode, Minx and Rapture were in a band with 10 people, so the numbers got my little kid brain all confused.
Minx is the one rocking the turban look this time that Marla
Nice.
whomever had in Music is Magic.
Rapture's looking a little bit Vegas-y.
She is. She looks like hey, if she wants to be a magician, that's why I said modest before, where she should be either flashy or sexy if she's a magician.
Hey, she's got the flashy down.
Exactly. So... Rapture is just like, aha, Houdini will be here in a minute. We're going to perform a song first because that's what we're here for. So,
We're a band.
Buy the Stingers band, and then I'll do my dumb Houdini bullshit, whatever.
But it turns out they happen simultaneously because this is also a combo song.
Well, Kristen, Astral is making a shit show of this performance, this benefit, by calling Rapture out on stage and saying she's a fraud, instead of, okay, so that might be awkward for some patrons in the audience.
Just a little bit. We didn't come here to watch a bunch of teenagers fight with each other.
And apparently Jem has appointed herself mediator of magic here, because she goes, let the duel of magic begin!
Man, there is so little Jem in this episode, and I'm grateful for it, because she is just kind of this nondescript force of belief in Astral. And that's about it.
Song number 3 of the evening, Believe/Don't Believe, which, Kristen, given how you just said that Jem is so full of belief, they actually have the don't believe part.
Well, believe in Astral because she real magic. Rapture is full of shit.
Believe in my full of shit.
No. Yes.
So the Stingers show off in this song here, coming out of cages after they already did the whole Mummy's Tomb thing or whatever. And
We gotta redo our entrance now because you interrupted.
Rapture has shackles on her wrists and ankles. Minx pushes a button that unlocks them here. And at this point, Astral winks at Jem like, watch this shit.
Hardcore flirting going up on this stage.
So Astral then does a thing that is entirely unimpressive because she's got chains all around her, but her giant cloak just kind of pulls her giant cloak in and they all fall down. It's like, wow, it's magic!
Wow. Locks. I love watching locks get undone, which is probably why I'm such a big fan of magic acts.
We've got Rapture getting out of the straitjacket with putting her teeth on the ribbon and oh god. You ever get that feeling of biting down on ribbon and it like kind of pulling out between your teeth because you don't really have a great grip on it? You ever get that like you get that weird like tingle up your spine like, oh god, ugh.
Yeah, it's like the chewing on a popsicle stick feeling or like biting on like cotton feeling.
Yeah. The sound of a brush when you're not brushing your teeth.
Ugh. Stop.
Ugh.
This is the opposite of ASMR.
So suddenly Kristen's dinosaurs?
Yeah, so does Rapture have a synergy?
I'm assuming that the chandelier's got a hologram projector in it, maybe?
Ooh, holograms, you say. So, I know that Tech Red is also technically supposed to be the Stinger synergy. What do you think the Stinger synergy is?
It's gotta be someone blonde.
It should probably start with an R.
He's gotta be beautiful.
It's Riot.
Riot, as well as being a master, very handsome man who's also probably a makeshift mechanic sometimes. Also, yes, really great at tech stuff.
I imagine he looks exactly like Synergy actually looks, but like more
Blonde.
Yeah, blonde, some yellow and orange going on there. Definitely completely nude, Dr. Manhattan style.
So, Rapture has wings at this point as well in Dinosaur Land when these things happen here, because
Cool.
just suddenly there's dinosaurs.
She's a demon!
And Astral arrives to fucking magic the dinosaurs away, so...
This isn't magic anymore, these are hallucinations.
Jem is locked into a box, which Astral pierces with swords, but hey, she's alright, and Kristen...
Magic!
Pizzazz watches from a window, knowing that could have been her chance, and they shouldn't have chosen this week to bring the CWTAJ magic costumes to the dry cleaners.
Oh, that just made me sad. To think that was the only thing holding Pizzazz back.
All the Misfits are hanging out. What should we do this week? Probably not magic stuff.
Nah, I doubt it. And Stormer is, of course, collecting all of their Kunoichi outfits and being like, we haven't cleaned these since we got to Magic Island. I'm gonna take care of it.
Riot and Jem sing at each other here with the professor between them, and that's the end of the song, basically. So everyone claps. I like Believe Don't Believe. It's the only just straight up holograms and Stingers combo song together. So
Weird.
It's really like all the rest of them that include the Stingers in a combo song also have the Misfits in them. So
It was alright.
we never got a Misfits and Stingers combo song.
Don't break my heart.
Everyone claps at this point, and Rapture introduces the Chinese water torture cell, which apparently, Kristen, a lot of people know about this thing.
I feel like you get the gist of it pretty quickly. It's full of water, and you're in it upside down, and chained up, and it's like, ah!
Everyone in the crowd is like, and Astro goes, Jesus Christ, you want to fucking kill yourself? Oh my god, what are you doing?
Rapture just spreads her hands and goes, no one is better than Houdini!
So Rapture gets lowered into the cell, and it is locked up. The curtain is thrown over the box, and just as Minx is about to push the button, some fucking dumbass spills her orange juice all over Rapture's bracelet.
No, my screwdriver! So So I guess the one comforting part of this is that it's not Minx's negligence that nearly kills Rapture. Because I could definitely see a version of this where Minx is just, like...
macking on somebody.
attempting to stick her tongue inside Rio's ear and misses her cue.
Minx goes, "Watch it, clumsy," and, like, hisses at her and then starts pressing the button. But it's Kristen. "Oh no, it's shorted out, which means Rapture's gonna drown."
Minx just straight up is like, well, okay, my friend is gonna die. So she gets up, runs to the stage, and she's like, you need to let her out right now, she's gonna die.
The curtain is pulled back and we see Rapture struggling. The audience gasps. Astral at this point runs over to the fucking fire axe and uses her cloak as padding to break the glass to get the fire axe. But Kristen, I noticed there was a handle on the box.
What a fucking show off.
She grabs the fire axe and starts pounding away at the thing here, but the glass is shatterproof, Kristen.
Sure, so she gets boosted up to the top of the box, picks the lock, because she had her skeleton key, Kimber.
And just straight up dives into the tank and starts unlocking all the locks on Rapture. She frees Rapture, the crowd erupts with applause, and Astral, not giving the woman who just nearly drowned any time at all, goes, "Rapture has something to say to you all."
Really quick. I don't like this implication that what Rapture was doing wasn't somewhat skillful. Because, hey, Joe.
Yes.
Magic is bullshit.
Magic is indeed bullshit, Kristen.
So what was Astral doing that was so cool? Not bullshit?
Saving somebody's life, I guess?
I guess so, and then immediately being a dick to them. So yes, Rapture, what do you have to say for yourself?
It was just a prank, bro.
Oh. Minx just takes Rapture out right off stage. They're like, okay, we're gonna go now.
Nobody even boos. The Stingers just walk off stage and that's it.
I appreciate that because when Rapture first gets out of the thing, I thought that the cheering for her release was some people booing. And I was like, she nearly just died, don't boo her!
The professor laments that she was such a fucking easy mark and a dumbass, but Astral is just like, come with me, Miss Farnsworth. We'll work some magic of our own.
So Astral puts her in a cage. She takes her wallet while she's turned away from the audience, and then throws a big old cloak over the cage. Magic.
She promises the most amazing illusion you'll ever see, so the cage gets up and floats here, and Astral throws a rainbow streamer over it.
Cool.
And when the cage lowers, there's a tiger inside.
It's Rhea!
Mrs. Farnsworth is out in the audience sitting next to some pink-dressed woman who's just like, "Whoa, where did you come from? Whoa!"
And the charity event is over. After all that drama you just got to watch between two bands.
We fade to after the benefit here. The pink-dressed woman is speaking with the professor and is just like, "But professor, how'd you do it? How'd you get in the audience? How did the tiger get in the cage?"
Oh, how did we respond to this when it came up in Music is Magic?
Musicians can't reveal their secrets.
Ah, fuck!
And that's it. The pink woman is just like, "All right, cool," and leaves.
Fair, I don't know why I bothered asking. See ya. You're not getting any of my money.
The professor thanks Astral, and she says from now on she is going to live her life to the fullest, and she won't be afraid of death, and she goes, "Anybody wanna watch?" As she takes them all off, throws them up into the air, and she fucking drops dead.
One of them falls back and hits her right in the solar plexus.
Oh, the ironing! Oh!
Irony.
So that was that old Houdini magic, Kristen. And actually it ends on a freeze frame of the watch, and there's like a pink transition into it, but it also needs to fade, so you're getting two weird end transitions. That's weird, whatever.
It's just a little bit trippy.
What did you think of that old Houdini magic, Kristen?
It was good, knowing that Straight from the Heart is next, which is an episode that I don't remember loving a lot, because Regine is a very frustrating character. And then knowing, once again, that we're running out of rope is scary. So everything, it just seems bad to me now. You
were right, Kristen, it's actually kind of, because I was thinking about Straight from the Heart, where there's not a lot of Jem at all in the episode. It's basically Regine, and maybe a bit of the Stingers, and barely any Jem.
Yeah.
And some of the Countess as well.
And I feel like Shayna talks some Yang in that episode.
She does talk, at least.
So you only have so many fashion people in the series. Got to give them some lines before. Oh man, when are we gonna get to the point where we realize that Aja doesn't have any more lines for the rest of the series?
She's got to say something in the last episode.
You would hope so, right? I'm getting nervous for our girl.
Crossing my fingers. Now is the point in the evening where I'll list off all of the fun contact things where you can find us. You can follow us on the Twitter machine at CWTAPod. You can follow me at Octopus, that's AWKTAPUS.
You can follow me at FunGirlTM, like trademark.
You can find us on the iTunes, on the SoundCloud, on the Stitcher Radio, on the YouTube. Leave a rating, give a review, do whatever you feel like. You could also drop us a line, cwtapod@gmail.com, where you can tell us all about dead spirits inhabiting your body via personal affects, or how to properly touch Tech Rat without him hissing like an angry cat.
I got it. Be a hot German woman.
Next week, Kristen, it's an episode about a fashion designer.
Ooh.
A female fashion designer.
Whoa.
A female fashion designer of color who's not Shayna.
I miss Shayna.
The Countess also shows up, so that might be neat. It's an episode that we just talked about a little bit here, called Straight from the Heart, which it's a weird thing to call it, Kristen. It's and I can understand why you're saying that Regine is very angering, because this is basically, it's the classic story we've seen before of somebody getting famous and getting too big for their britches, basically.
Yep, and being dicks to people who are just trying to help them, which, hey, Regine, I get it. Gem the holograms are super overbearing, but the stingers are the worst.
So get ready for an episode about a woman we've never met before who takes up 90% of the screen time. For the Can We Talk About podcast, my name is Joe.
I'm Kristen.
And join us next week for some more glamour, glitter, fashion and fame, but mostly fashion and fame.
Oh, Joe, the check is in the mail.
Thanks, Countess.
You are welcome.